The
meeting is being recorded.
Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityan Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, let's just I like to just go back on the verses from yesterday. Always good to have a context because this is a study we're doing of Bhagavad Gita. So it's nice to keep an idea of the flow. We did 7.4, 7.5, and 7.6 yesterday. Okay. So 7.4, Krishna's Bhumi Atmanulavayu Kamadu Evacha. Speaking about the phenomenon which Krishna mentioned in the previous verse, the material manifestation. All right, got to do some, thank you. The inferior energy of the Lord. Yeah. And the spirit behind us, that was the next verse. Aparayamitastvanyam. Yeah, the spirit behind it. The that which is moving, that which is inferior. Yeah. So in other words, the body moves, which is inferior because of the superior energy of the presence of the soul. And just backtracking, Krishna explains that yes. In the first verse, he explains, second verse, Smalley, that nothing further shall remain for one to know. After this 7th chapter, once we've discussed this 7th chapter, there'll be nothing else that you need to know in this material world, okay? Everything will be complete. You'll have complete knowledge of what is this material world and what is the spirit behind it. Yeah. Yeah, Nitai Mata, we are on starting today. She's asking what verse. We are on 7.7. Mata Paratanam Nanyat. Okay. And that brings us, then Krishna explains, he explained about the external, Bhumi Apanalovayu, and the internal, Aparema Dastvanyam. Then he mentions that he is the source of both. Yeah. Both are coming from him. Let's get that verse. Yes. Yes, all created beings have their source in these two natures. Yeah. Our body has a source coming from the inferior energy, excuse me. Oh. And but the main point is that he is the origin and he is the dissolution, at least of the inferior energy. He is the dissolution. So good news that the superior energy, the soul, is not subject to dissolution. It's subject to being bewildered by the external energy for sure, but cannot be dissolved, as Krishna explained in the 2nd chapter. All right. And number 7 is going to this verse we're going to begin with. Is not only Krishna's explained how he is the creator and the destroyer, but he now is going to explain how he is maintaining, how he is the substratum of the whole of existence. And that's today's beginning verse. So let me share the Bhagavad Gita with you. Can I make a humble request? If it's possible, if someone can have their camera on, or a couple of devotees, if it's possible, because I always find it difficult to speak to a computer. It's good if I can see a conscious entity when and I guess unless it's not possible, but just a humble request. Jai, thank you, Mavaludya. That's it, so I can see. Hare Krishna. I can see some devotees now. Hare Krishna. All right, so let's begin. Let me shuffle this around. 7, I was looking at the verses earlier, see where we're going today. So 7.7. Anyone like to read this? Perhaps I'll ask Mother Lavanga. Could you read this for us? 7.7. Can you hear me? Can anyone hear me? Hare Krishna.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, if you could.
Am I reading the translation?
Oh, yeah, let me go back. Thank you. There you are. Mata Paratanam.
Mata Paratara Nadyat Kinchid Asti Dan Anjaya Mai Sarvamidam Proktam Sutremani Gana Iva. O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. There is a common controversy over whether the supreme absolute truth is personal or impersonal. As far as the Bhagavad Gita is concerned, the absolute truth is the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, and this is confirmed in every step. In this verse in particular, it is stressed that the absolute truth is a person, that the personality of Godhead is
Sorry, what I was thinking of doing is just because sometimes when we read the whole purport, and by the time we get to the end of the purport, at least I sometimes forget what's being discussed. So I think we just pause as we go along, and I'll ask certain questions as well to make sure we're all kind of understanding, or if there's any questions or like that. I was going to ask a question here. I was looking at this earlier on. Prabhupada says that this verse in particular is stressing that the absolute is a person. Can anyone say where in this verse, how does Prabhupada summarize that? How does he come to that conclusion from this verse? He mentions a particular word twice.
Me.
Yeah,
me.
As simple as that. Me. And that's also mentioned as another verse, also that's called the Chatusloki of the Bhagavatam, which aham avasha evam gre, I. So it's quite simple. Prabhupada's making that connection here, that the absolute truth is a person, because me, it mentions me. Of course, the impersonalists twist this to mean, in other words, they will say, instead of me, what do they say? Me is, it's not referring to me, it's referring to the unborn within me. They make it complicated. All right. And so I was going to this particular stressing the absolute truth is a person. The person means that it's a person who can reciprocate, who can hear us, who can hear our prayers. He's a supreme person. So as we know, this is the theme of our Siddhanta, the theme of our philosophy, as opposed to the Mayavadis. So Prabhupada brings this out, I think, nearly and practically in every verse, or not in every, or at least in every purport. Okay, you can continue, Marv, unless there's any comments or questions on this. We're all pretty clear here, isn't it? We're all theists, and we're all devotees here. So for us, this is quite simple to accept, that God is a person and he's not impersonal. So now he's going to quote from scripture, as he does, to prove this. Go on, carry on, Mom.
I mean, it doesn't make sense to think that it's not a person from that verse, because this is a person saying something. O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. I mean, who else is saying it if it's not Krishna?
For us, it's what we call blatantly obvious. For us, there is no question of discussion on any other meaning. But they're very not skillful, but they juggle.
So the unborn in you is saying this. It's like crazy.
They will juggle things around. Actually, before this, I happen to have a copy on my computer of Shankaracharya's commentary on the Bhagavad Gita. So I was going to go and look at what he says about this verse to see how we can possibly screw out an impersonal purport to this. But it would take me too long to find it in my computer. But yes, oh, conqueror of wealth, there's no truth superior to me. They have all types of ways to try and give an impersonal purport to this, which can often bewilder those who are innocent,
Okay.
Yeah, go on. Anyone else?
Yeah.
We can continue reading.
That the personality of Godhead, that the personality of Godhead is the absolute truth is also the affirmation of the Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. That is, the supreme absolute truth, personality of Godhead, is Lord Krishna, who is the primeval Lord, the reservoir of all pleasure, Govinda, and the eternal form of complete bliss and knowledge. These authorities leave no doubt that the supreme,
what's the word for complete bliss and knowledge?
Satchidananda.
Yeah, Satchidananda Vigraha. So Vigraha means form. Okay.
Yeah.
Form. He has a form, like we have a form of some type of ignorance. We have a form of Bhumi Apo Nalo Vayo. Krishna has the form of Satchit Ananda Vigraha. He's the supreme, and the Ishvara means controller. Parama means supreme. So we're getting a Sanskrit lesson as well. Okay, and Krishna. So yeah, Lord Brahma explains it very succinctly. Yes, carry on.
These authorities leave no doubt that this absolute truth is the supreme person, the cause of all causes. The impersonalist, however, argues on the strength of the Vedic version given in the Svatavastara Upanishad 3.10. Tato yad uttarataram tad arupam anamyayam ya etad vidur amritaste bhavanti abatere dukam eva vijanti. In the material world, Brahma, the primeval living entity within the universe, is understood to be the supreme amongst the demigods, human beings, and lower elements. But beyond Brahma, there is the transcendence who has no material form and is free from all material contaminations. Anyone who can know him also becomes transcendental, but those who do not know him suffer the miseries of the material world.
Yeah, so just
the impersonal.
1 second. Prabhupada's going to mention in the next purport that they play on the word here. They play on this word, arupam, which means, rupam means form. Okay, so arupam means no form. But anyway, I'm giving the next paragraph away. It means it has no spiritual form. Yeah, so it's because they're quite tricky. Like here, okay, then they admit there is a creator. That's Brahma. Yeah, and he's the supreme amongst all the demigods. But then that beyond Brahma, there is transcendence, which is devoid of form, devoid of quality, devoid of taste, devoid of knowing, devoid. Yeah. Yeah. So anyone who can know him also becomes transcendental. But those who do not know, so they give the same type of philosophy as us, in the sense that if you understand transcendence, you can be free of the miseries of the material world. And sometimes, out of interest, I look up on YouTube impersonalist philosophers and hear what they have to say, or about what is Brahman, and they present, like, for instance, say, once you know that which is transcendent, you will forget all the dualities of the world, and all the miseries will go, just like the fog when the sun comes up. You will feel oneness with all people. There will be no grievance in your heart anymore. They speak like that. Once you realize the oneness of all beings, you will not feel any enmity towards anyone. So they present it like this, very all right. But anyway, so anyway, I hope we're not quick. Let's read the personal philosophy.
I was Prabhu, I just felt that I was thinking about Janma Karma Tame Divyam. It is also included here in this purport, isn't it, Prabhu?
Yeah, where did you see that so far?
because it says I'm also when I know the transcendental form. So we become.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that's our understanding. One is one who understands Krishna.
Yeah.
He's so-called Janma, he's so-called karma, he's Janma, he's actual Janma, what the actual real nature of his Janma. One becomes free of the miseries of material existence and goes to the spiritual world. Yeah. Janma karma chame divyam. Yeah, in truth. Yeah, well spotted. Hare Krishna. So you can continue reading. There's only a few of us here today. And let's see if anyone else joins us. Carry on.
Yeah.
The impersonalist
Yeah. The impersonalist puts more strength.
stress.
Puts more stress on the word arupam, but this arupam is not impersonal. It indicates the transcendental form of eternity, bliss, and knowledge, as described in the Brahma Samhita, quoted above. Other verses in the Svetabhasara Upanishad 3:8-9 substantiate this as follows.
Yeah, just
I know that.
So these verses come before the verse 10. This is verse 10. Verse 10, which we just read.
Yeah.
So they take verses out of context. Yeah, they will pick a verse out like this, and in that one verse, they will focus on one word, arupam. But now Prabhupada's quoting other verses in that scripture, which contradict them. So, for example, now he's quoting 8 and 9, the two verses before, right?
Yeah.
So that's what some people will do. They will take scripture, which we accept, they will take out one particular verse and focus on one word and twist the meaning for one word. But then we go back to the scripture, and like Prabhupada has done, and say, actually, no, you have misunderstood. And then we have this. Yeah. Okay, carry on.
Yeah. Okay. I know that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is transcendental to all material conceptions of darkness. Only he who knows him can transcend the bonds of birth and death. There is no way for liberation other than this knowledge of that Supreme Person. There is no truth superior to that Supreme Person, because he is the supermost. He is smaller than the smallest, and he is greater than the greatest. He is situated in as a silent tree, and he illumines the transcendental sky. As a tree spreads its roots, he spreads his extensive energies.
Yes.
From these verses, one concludes that the Supreme Absolute Truth is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is all-pervading by his multi-energies, both material and spiritual.
Okay. So, yeah, these are nice verses. So he's not, again, just Krishna is not just a creator, which is a pretty big thing. He's not just a creator, and he's not just a destroyer. He happens to pervade everything. Yeah, that's why this verse is very nice. Just like the pearl necklace is held together. Yeah, because there is some theistic philosophies. There's a theistic philosophy called deism, and they believe in a creator, but they believe in a creator like a watchmaker. The watchmaker thereon, after creating the watch, has nothing to do with the watch. Yeah. So they don't believe in these deists, this was in the, I think, late 18th, 19th century, early 19th century. They believed in the creator, but they didn't believe in the need for church or revelation. Yeah. They believe that God created, and that's all he did. He doesn't function to maintain the world. Yeah, that's a deism. But here it's just got no. Krishna is and the verses which come next, I was reading as well. These verses, Vasahamapsa Kuntaya, show explain how Krishna is situated everywhere. Yeah, he's situated within water. He's situated within the reason that water is formed and has an energy is because it's Krishna who's manifest there. All right, so Krishna is, Krishna's in your kitchen, okay? Krishna's in your closet. Krishna's in your heart. Krishna's in the apple you eat. Yeah, nothing would be if it wasn't for Krishna's energy, and he's pervading everything. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Any comments or question on that? It's interesting, is it, when you stop and slow down a bit and kind of try and take the purport of trying to, kind of broadens out understanding. So Krishna has multi-energies, both material and spiritual. Yeah, I want to say one more thing, that that Arupam means he doesn't have a material form. He has a spiritual form. Yeah. So the Vedas will often describe as Brahman having no form. Yeah. But we know that means he doesn't have a material form. He has a form which is beyond the grasp of our material comprehension, but he does have a form. Yeah, but that form is completely spiritual. Yeah. So okay, let's read on a bit more, shall we? Let's read 7, 8. Okay. Wakul on Nitai Mata. Then
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Rasoham absikanteya prabhasmi sasi suryaho pranavo sarvadeso sabdake paurusam naso. O son of Kunti, I'm the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, the syllable Om and the Vedic mantras, and the sound in ether and ability in man. My God, my favorite verse.
Yeah, this is very nice verse. I don't know how many times I've read this verse and how many times I've drank water and don't remember this point. How many times I've read it, and every time I drink water, I never think of Krishna. But yeah, so he is the taste of water. We're going to hear more. Yeah, so he's the potency behind the sun. He is the light of the sun, and he's the moon. Anyway, Hare Krishna. So let's read about this.
This verse explains how the Lord is all-pervasive and his diverse material and spiritual energies. The Supreme Lord can be preliminarily perceived by his different energies, and in this way, he is realized impersonally.
Okay, so sorry to jump in again. So this is the first step in God realization. If it's difficult for you to conceive of God being a person, then you might want to start with understanding the wonder of the material manifestation. Yeah. So you might meet someone who finds it difficult to conceive of the person God, but at least they should appreciate the wonder of creation. Yeah. The wonder. Yeah. So perceived by his different energies. Yeah. So that's why Prabhupada, he can be preliminarily perceived. Yeah. So if anyone goes to the Himalayas, you can look at the Himalayas and you can have a great sense of wonder, and that is the energy of Krishna, like that. Okay, carry on.
As the demigod in the sun is a person, and he is perceived by his all-pervading energy, the sunshine, so the Lord, although in his eternal abode, is perceived by his all-pervading diffusive energies.
Okay. Yeah.
The taste of water is the active principle of water. No one likes to drink seawater because the pure taste of water is mixed with salt. Attraction for water depends on the purity of the taste, and this pure taste is one of the energies of the Lord. This is a very good.
Yeah. I know, that's why we often, we like to drink orange juice, we like to drink this juice and drink that juice, and blueberry juice or mango and passion fruit juice. But actually, it's always good to drink water, yeah, in its pure form, and trying to remember Krishna. Yeah. So Krishna's also the taste in orange juice. He's the active principle in everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
The impersonalist person.
Yeah, but
Go on.
Yeah.
water, like from the tap, doesn't taste very good. I mean, you wouldn't think Krishna is the taste in this water, because real water is like nectar, isn't it? Pure water is like nectar. It feels
Yeah.
pure. This water does not feel pure.
And that's what Prabhupada's referring to here, actually. Water in its uncontaminated state, which I guess we could say is difficult to get hold of these days. But yeah, so
Recycle water we drink.
yeah. So anyway, the main point here is that it's Krishna, and this is expanding on that Krishna's. Everything is sustained by him like pearls are strung on a thread. So this is giving examples. Yeah. But yeah, that point is taken. Okay, continue here, I think, Mother. You're reading here.
Perceives the presence of the Lord in water and its taste, and the personalist also glorifies the Lord for his kindly supplying tasty water to quench man's thirst. That is the way of perceiving the Supreme. Practically speaking, there is no conflict between personalism and impersonalism. One who knows God knows that the impersonal conception and personal conception are simultaneously present in everything, and that there is no contradiction. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya established the sublime doctrine Achintya Veda and the Veda Tattva, simultaneousness, oneness, and difference.
Yeah, so that's a good. I was in class the other day. One devotee, I think Pachur devotee, gave class today and recently. He was quoting Radhe Shyam, he's a prominent devotee in India. And when he first came to Krishna consciousness, he was very, very much an impersonalist, brought up from a very young age in a family of Mayavadi and impersonalists. But somehow he was attracted to devotees and the temple. So what's that sannyasi disciple of Radhanath Swami Maharaj? He took sannyas many years ago now. I'm trying to think of his name.
No,
He was a TP in Vrindavan.
no, I don't know. Oh yes. Is that Rasamita?
Rasamrita Maharaj.
Yeah.
We get Rasamrita Maharaj. So he was preaching. He was befriending him and preaching him, and preaching to him. So Radhesham, well, he wasn't Radhesham at the time, but he asked a question, and he asked it in such a way that everything very much depended on how and in what would the answer would be. Otherwise, he would just become disgusted and just and not be interested in Krishna consciousness. So he was very much asking about the impersonalism. Anyway, point I'm trying to make is that the answer that Rasamrita Maharaj gave, he said, yes, you are correct, but there's more. Just that thing, but there's more. Yeah. So in other words, he didn't create a he didn't create like a argument. He said, yes, you're right. Yes, you're right. Everything there is, everything is one, and it is impersonal, yes. But he said, but there's more. Anyway, a long way around to describing what is here. Yeah. So about
Radhe Shyam Prabhu.
Sorry?
Are you speaking about Radhe Shyam Prabhu? the very senior brahmachari.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. He came
From a
from a
very
personal
stock.
background, and Rasamrita Raj was preaching to him, and he brought him round in a gentle way, without saying, "No, you're nonsense. It's not impersonalism. Where'd you get that from? You know, you've been brainwashed your whole life. God's a person." No, he said, "Yes, you're right, but there's more." So that's what's being mentioned here. So one who knows God knows that the impersonal conception and the personal conception are present within everything, and that there is no contradiction. Then Prabhupada then brings in Achincha Beda,
Tattva.
Abheda Tattva. Yes, one and different. That's the whole, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
The light of the sun and the moon, and is also originally emanating from the Brahmajyotir, which is the impersonal effulgence of the Lord, and Pranava, or the Omkara, transcendental sound in the beginning of every Vedic hymn, addresses the Supreme Lord. Because the impersonalists are very much afraid of addressing the Supreme Lord, Krishna, by his innumerable names, only they prefer to vibrate the transcendental sound Omkara.
Omkara, yeah. We just had class just this Sunday was about Omkara. Anyway, go on. Yes.
But they do not realize that Omkara is a sound representation of Krishna. The jurisdiction of Krishna consciousness extends everywhere, and and one who knows Krishna consciousness is blessed. Those who do not know Krishna are in illusion, and so knowledge of Krishna is liberation, and ignorance of him is bondage.
Okay, so quite simple. Knowledge of Krishna is liberation, ignorance of him is bondage. Yeah. So I just wanted to go back here. Kind of expanding on this a little bit. Here's the light of the sun and moon. Yeah, which is emanating from the Brahma Jyoti, which is the impersonal effulgence of the Lord. I want to do something you could try. Next time, if there is such a thing, there is hopefully sometimes there is such a thing in England. You can see a blue sky when there's no clouds. It happens every now and again. You can see a blue sky. Now you look at that blue.
This evening it was blue sky.
This evening?
Yeah, here this side in Wembley.
Well, there's no blue sky here. It's dark.
Yeah, no, not now. This evening, and not yet.
Yeah.
Not now. Before.
What I'm trying to say is that if you look at that blue, and that blue is very transcendent. It's really unique. And I asked, we have one devotee called Vamsi, but we all know artists have trouble painting the exact blueness of the sky. It's something extraordinary. You see, it's almost magical. It's like a blue, it's like a deep blue, white. I don't know if you can follow what I'm trying to say here, but just that that's coming from Krishna, and it's indicating transcendence. Yeah. So the fact, and again, so the light, just the fact that there's light coming from the sun. Has anyone ever experienced the moonlight? Here in London, we don't really experience it much because we've got street lights everywhere. But one time I was in Hungary, and I was coming back from the temple. I was walking back from the temple to the guest house, and there's not one light, and it's quite a walk. It's about a 15-minute walk, and there's not one light there. But one night it was a full moon, and I could see everything. By the light of the moon, I could see the trees, I could see the water, I could see my way perfectly. It's the first time I really, perhaps I have before, but just appreciating the light of the moon, its silvery rays. It was so enchanting. Yeah. So again, that's the energy of Krishna. He said he is the light of the sun and the moon. So these things, like when we're going about our life, we look up the sky and we see a full moon. We can appreciate, yeah, this is Krishna, Krishna's energies. Yeah. And the syllable arm in Vedic mantras. And we could say more of Krishna. Prabhupada doesn't elaborate so much on this, that he's the divinity in man. It's interesting, isn't it? Sorry, Mavlavanga, yeah. Was you going to say something?
Yeah, I was thinking about the full moon, like Sharad. Yeah, Sharad Punim is this Saturday, full moon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Sharad Punim is Saturday.
And but it's also a partial eclipse. So we shouldn't actually look at the moon on Sharad Punim.
Really? There's a partial eclipse here in the UK.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Where are you, Mother Ludja? Where are you tuning in from?
I'm from Kiev.
Kiev. Yeah, you're in Ukraine. I guess there's not a eclipse there.
Yeah, it should be there here as well.
Okay, there as well, yeah. So you're saying, should we not look at the moon?
Yeah, if it is eclipse, yes, we should.
Papa didn't really we there's so you're breaking up there. I cannot hear you.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Prabhupada didn't really give many directions, or didn't give much concern about that, because there was discussion on this, because in some Smarta Brahman or some Hindu traditions, then you can do no worship during an eclipse. Everyone should, close the curtains. It's going to contaminate everything. It's inauspicious. One time when I was first beginning my Pujari service, there was an eclipse. So the head Pujari at the time, she had us all put in bin liners up against the windows and covering all the pots and pans, to not let any light in at all, But Prabhupada gave direction in regards that the worship should go on. Yeah. In India, they might close the doors to the temple and not have public, not open to the public, but the worship will still go on. So anyway, don't worry. Krishna will protect you if you look at the moon, especially if you're appreciating Krishna. Yeah, Krishna will protect you if you happen to glimpse at the moon. All right, Hare Krishna. Anything else from here?
But if there is eclipse, you may not see the moon. You may not be able to see the moon. Then maybe it's covered.
If it's a full eclipse, then you're gonna. Yeah, I think it's not the moon you shouldn't see. I think, actually, I'm not sure about it. I don't know. I think it's the eclipse. I mean, Lord Chaitanya appeared during a lunar eclipse, wasn't it? Lord Chaitanya appeared.
Yeah.
Everyone was chanting the name Hari Hari.
Yeah.
That was to dissipate the inauspiciousness, the so-called inauspiciousness. So even the Muslims were chanting Hari Hari. Yeah. Okay, so Hare Krishna. So not. All right, let's read 7-9. Mother Ludja, how's your English? You're okay to read?
I can try.
Yeah, I'm sure you do well. Go ahead. You can read. If the Sanskrit's too much, then don't worry. Just read the translation as you like.
Yogantha prithivyam cha tejaschasmi vibhavasau jivanam sarva bhuteshu tapaschasmi tapasvishu.
Very good.
I am the original fragrance of the earth, and I am the heat in fire. I am the life of all that lives, and I am the penance of all ascetics. Punya means that which is not decomposed. Punya is original. Everything in the material world has certain flavor or fragrance. As the flavor and fragrance in a flower or in the earth, in water, in fire, in air, etc. The
Yeah.
contaminated flavor, the original flavor, which permits everything, is Krishna.
Okay, so
Similarly,
something to remember. Next time you're smelling a flower, well, normally we smell flowers after we offer them to Krishna. Yeah. So it's quite, again, it's like if you look at the sky and its blueness, it's quite extraordinary. The fact that roses have a beautiful smell, well, some of them, there's not many flowers that smell today, but the flowers which you grow in your back garden, they have a nice scent. So it's quite something we take for granted, but it's quite amazing, isn't it? That sweet smell, that scent of a what flowers smell? Roses smell, jasmine,
Gardenia. Gardenia.
jasmines. They have if you try and describe the smell of a rose, it's very
Yeah. Marigolds.
marigolds. Yeah, they smell a bit weedy to me. I'm not so
Yeah.
keen on the smell of marigolds.
Yeah.
But the fact that this, so if you, in other words, it's something which cannot be created or it can be imitated through using chemicals. But it's a wonderful phenomenon. It grows from the ground and from the earth. Then it manifests as this flower. Of course, we know it's nature to attract the bees, isn't it? That's the idea, isn't it? To come and pollinate.
Yeah. Hyacinths have a good smell.
Hyacinths have a smell. Yeah. So this is Krishna. Yeah. Krishna. Yeah, that's the fragrance, everything, which permeates everything. The uncontaminated fragrance, the original fragrance which permeates everything is Krishna. Of course, also there's bad smells in this world. There's offensive smells. So that doesn't present smell in its purest form. All right, so you can continue from here. Similarly,
everything has a particular original taste, and this taste can be changed by the mixture of chemicals. So everything original has some smell, some fragrance, and some taste. Vibhava Su means fire. Without fire, we cannot run factories, we cannot cook, etc. And that fire is Krishna. The heat in the fire is Krishna. According to Vedic medicine, indigestion is due to a low temperature in the belly. So even for digestion, fire is needed. In Krishna consciousness, we become aware that earth, water, fire, air, and every active principle, all chemicals and all material elements are due to Krishna. The duration of man's life is also due to Krishna. Therefore, by the grace of Krishna, man can prolong his life or diminish it. So Krishna consciousness is active in every sphere. Hare Krishna.
yeah. Yeah, it's said that an atheist for a devotee, they see Krishna everywhere. For the atheist, they see Krishna nowhere. Devotee sees Krishna everywhere. Yeah. So let me just read a bit from Bodhijan here on this verse. Punyu Ganda Padivyam Cha. So we have heard that earth is one of Krishna's energies. Okay, Bhumi Apo Nalo Vayu. Here Krishna explains that he has imbued the earth with a variety of fragrances. It just reminds me, does anyone know there's a story in our sastras about how the earth gets its potency for creating fragrance? You might not know. It's a story in one book, I think, called the Gita by His Holiness Srila Shivaram Swami Maharaj. And he's quoting the Acharyas different stories, and they say that it's explained that when Krishna is being dressed by Mother Yasoda, he's being undressed and bathed and dressed. So the scent of his divine body pervades his clothes. And when his clothes touch the ground, the earth takes that fragrance from his body and imbues and then gives it out in the smell of flowers, etc. All right, so that's something to meditate upon. Again, the Krishna's body, which is completely spiritual, has divine, there's a guru, and more different way it's described Krishna's scent of his body. Sometimes the wind blows the scent of Krishna's body, and the gopis get that scent of Krishna's body, and they go crazy in love for Krishna. Yeah. So there's nice meditation as Krishna's clothes hit the floor, the earth then takes that and uses it as a bouquet in the different flowers which grow from the earth. All right. So a bit of rasa there, a bit of a rasica explanation of this, So it continues, if we plant a rose seed which has no fragrance, it doesn't have a fragrance, is it? And add water which has no fragrance, a fragrant rose will bud from the bush. Similarly, a jasmine seed or a gardenia bulb will each yield blooms with unique and wonderful fragrances, which are all released from the earth. Remember, the earth gets its fragrances from Krishna. The essence of fire is heat. Heat is necessary to cook our food. It is not only the food, however, that is maintaining us. We must also be able to digest the food. That fire of digestion is Krishna's energy. So there is a subtle fire within our body. Yeah. Sometimes it's very strong. Sometimes it's very weak. Yeah. If it's very strong, you'll be very hungry. If it's very weak, then you can't digest anything. Yeah. If you have a strong fire, but it is a fire. I'm not exactly sure the constitution of the fire, but there's heat and there's fire. Yeah. The soul, which is the essence of life, is an energy of Krishna. The essence of an ascetic's life is penance, or his ability to tolerate austerities. That ability is also Krishna's gift. Okay, so I am the life of all that lives. Yeah, so he's even the life of our very soul. Yeah, the essence of life, and he's the penance of all ascetics. So that ability to do austerities is coming from Krishna. Yeah, the ability to stand on one foot for 12 years in the Himalayas, not very attractive to us. But if someone's doing that, they've been given that ability by Krishna. So he is the ability. Yeah, so it's Krishna's gift. Yeah, so any abilities that we do have, we should see it as a gift from Krishna. Yeah. All right. Let's read a bit more. Surprising, not many people here today. I don't know, perhaps there's a good film on. Perhaps that. Otherwise, some things are going on. Anyway, we'll continue. All right, Mother Lavanga, you like to read the next verse, number 10. Can you hear? Hare Krishna, Mother Lavanga Latika. She can't hear, I don't think. Nitai Mata.
Okay, can I? Yeah,
Go
thank
ahead.
you. Bijamam sarvabhutana vidhi partha sanatanam buddhir buddhimatam asme tejas svinam aham. O son of Pratha, know that I am the original seed of all existences, the intelligence of the intelligent, and the poorest of all powerful men. Prabhupada Bhashara Prabhupada, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Bija means seed. Krishna is the seed of everything. There are various living entities moving in and in moving and inert. Birds, beasts, men, and many other living creatures are moving living entities. Trees and plants, however, are inert. They cannot move, but only stand. Every entity is contained within the scope of 8,400,000 species of life. Some of them are moving and some of them are inert. In all cases, however, the seed of their life is Krishna. As stated in Vedic literature, Taittiriya Upanishad 3.1, Yato va imani bhutani jayante. Brahman, or the supreme absolute truth, is that from which everything is emanating. Krishna is Parabrahman, the supreme spirit. Brahman is impersonal and Parabrahman is personal. Impersonal Brahman is situated in the personal aspect that is stated in Bhagavad Gita 14.27. Brahmano hi pratistaham. Therefore, originally, Krishna is the source of everything. He is the root. As the root of a tree maintains the whole tree, Krishna, being the original root of all things, maintains everything in this material manifestation. This is also confirmed in the Vedic literature, Katha Upanishad 2.2.13.
Let's read this verse. It's Nityo Nityananam Chetanam Chetananam Ekupahunam Yo Vidati Kamam. Prabhupada will quote this verse so many times.
He is prime eternal among all eternals. He is the supreme living entity of all living entities, and he alone is maintaining all life. He cannot do anything without intelligence. And Krishna also says,
not here, or one
one cannot do. And Krishna also says that he is the root of all intelligence. Unless a person is intelligent, he cannot understand the supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna.
Okay, I thought I'd let that run a bit, that one verse. So yeah, he's the original seed. Yeah. Everything, what came first? What comes first, the chicken or the egg? Yeah. Yeah. But the original seed, he says this in more than one place in the Bhagavad Gita. What else is it? Yeah, another verse he says that I am the original seed of all exist. Yeah, he says here, and elsewhere he says it as well. So he's the original seed of all existence, the intelligence of the intelligent, the prowess of all powerful men. So just remember that this chapter, Krishna is explaining this by which one can know everything. Yeah, where is that verse again? Nothing further shall remain for you to know. All right. So Krishna's given now a quite wonderful description of how everything, how he is to serve everything. Yeah.
He's explaining his how he perceived from 8 to 11, I think.
Say again.
Lord is we can understand how he is pervading from 8 to 11.
Pervading from 8 to 11?
No, I'm saying 8 word, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Okay. With you. Sorry. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. Should we go on for another verse? Bijam. Yeah.
Yeah, Balam.
Yeah, he's intelligence of the intelligent, the prowess of all powerful men. Yeah, so this thing is good to kind of, sometimes we're quite adverse devotees. One sense it's maybe needed in the beginnings of our devotional practice where we become averse to anything material. Just think of Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Krishna, 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 which is good. But then as one advances, one is able to look at the world, move as they move in the world, in their specific environment. It will be the world should start to become a stimulus for their Krishna consciousness. Yeah. So, for instance, you can see an artist painting, and appreciate that he is the ability that's given, he's gifted that artist with a particular skill. Or someone may be even, of course, we have to not take it too far. Someone may be a good musician, you know, but we can appreciate to some, it's not like we become a fan of mundane music and get carried away like that. But if someone's a good singer, someone's a good actor, someone's a good musician, you know, someone's a good speaker, even if it's about, someone's a good storyteller, even if it's not about Krishna consciousness, the fact that they're good at something, we can appreciate, oh, that's Krishna. I see Krishna giving the artist the ability to paint. Yeah. And some people just we don't have, may not be gifted with such abilities. Of course, everyone has some skill and particular and specific ability. Like, for instance, I always wish I could paint and draw, but I can't. I'm a hopeless. And I always find it amazing myself when I see artists able to represent almost perfectly what they see on a canvas. I can't do that. If I start painting, it comes out like matchstick men. You know, I have no ability to take what I see and present it on paper. But that I appreciate very much when I see that. And that's Krishna. Krishna's giving that particular jiva, because of their karma or whatever, that ability. Yeah. And Krishna at the same time, he can take it away as well. You know? So yeah, and in this way, this is what it means to be God conscious, to be moving around in the world and appreciating and seeing the world through the eyes of the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, and it's a practice which is good to practice. You know? Like you may see a beautiful tree, like sometimes there's a park here called Regent's Park, and during the autumn and the summer and spring, I like to walk there and see one time beautiful blossoms, beautiful blossoming trees, beautiful colors, you know. And so what should we think? This is Krishna. Isn't Krishna wonderful? Yeah. This is all Krishna's energy. It's all coming from him. Yeah. So yeah, plenty of causes to be Krishna conscious if we want to be. Yeah. As you said, for devotee, they see Krishna everywhere, but atheists can't see him nowhere. That's why Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad, just finish on this point, he asked Prahlad in a sarcastic way, because Prahlad was saying, yeah, Krishna is everywhere, he's within and he's without, you know. So Hiranyakashipu, in a sarcastic retort, was joking, laughing, and saying, is he in this pillar? You saying he's everywhere? So he's being sarcastic there. You say he's everywhere? No, well, you nonsense. He's not everywhere. Just see, is he in this pillar? Is he in this pillar? And to prove his point, he smashed the pillar. We all know what happened next. Krishna, actually, in that particular instance, he did manifest from the pillar. Because Prahlad could see by his purity and by his devotion. And even his father, yeah, he couldn't believe how Prahlad was so fearless of him. So he's asking, where did you get your strength from? So what did Prahlad say?
From the same place that you get strength.
I got my strength from the same place that you get yours, and that's from Vishnu. Of course, his father became even more enraged and fuming in envy and anger. Atheist. All right. Let's pause there. Thank you for joining us. Only a couple of us here today, but that's no problem. We can still read Bhagavad Gita. So please join us and we'll continue for this wonderful, one of my favorite chapters, actually. And so we'll continue with text 11 next week. Okay. All right. Hare Krishna, thank you for joining us. Yes, please.
I was just thinking to ask, is there a possibility if everyone agrees, but to have Bhagavad Gita on Wednesday and Thursday.
Well, everyone's not here. You better ask again next week. Thursday, we already do.
Yeah.
Thursday, we're doing, we had Bhagavatamrita, so it won't be.
Yeah, no, is it? Oh, no, I was thinking to put that on Tuesday. Is there a possibility?
Wait, it's fine. You better speak to the rest of the group, but but we can't decide here now because there's only three of us. There's only three of you here.
No, I am only, of course, no problem, not now. I'm just asking, like, not to decide now, just thinking.
Ask,
Only reason is I'm asking is Tuesday. Sometimes it's really difficult. By the time I reach home, I'm a bit late from service. That's the reason.
so you're gonna move it. Just move it. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't mind because
all up to others.
yeah, you better ask your other devotees who normally attend. Okay. Okay, Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Thank
Gaura
you.
Premanande,
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Hare Bol.